I think first and foremost, our goal coming in was, recruit the 300-mile radius. Find the players in Ohio, Youngstown, Western Pennsylvania. So having that focus, and then to sign our first class and to look at the schools that they come from, and even those schools, finding young men that come from winning programs that we know those coaches, we know who they are, especially in the times right now where there weren't no official visits. We were fortunate before we went into COVID to get a couple of these young men on our campus, and that definitely helped us in the recruiting. But some of them never been on our campus. So you got to trust, where they're coming from, what coaches they played under, and for us to be familiar with that, I think, set the tone for this recruiting. Not a huge class. If you look at it, we right now have 23 out of 40 scholarship players on our defensive side of the ball that are freshmen or redshirt freshmen. So you're probably not going to see a lot of defensive players because we're young defensively. But where we needed to go out, we needed to go find O-linemen first and foremost. When interviewing for the job, the one thing we believe that, Cincinnati and we believe here is, we got to recruit high school offensive linemen. But when you look at a high school offensive lineman, it's about development. It's about getting them here on campus. It's about developing. That could be a 2 to 3 year process for most of those guys. We've seen that work at the two previous places. If you look at Iowa State and Cincinnati, they're playing with those linemen that were recruited 4 to 5 years ago that are now getting on the football field and winning a lot of football games for those programs. So you'll see a class that we, were able to get 3 offensive linemen. We're able to get some length and athletic ability on the perimeter at a wide receiver spot. At a quarterback spot, we got an athletic. I know it says 210 pounds on his bio, but he's probably 220 pounds right now. So, a big athletic quarterback that can move around the pocket. And then at linebacker, we needed to get someone that, again, we can develop, that can bring speed to run from sideline to sideline, a young man that not only can he play outside linebacker, he's played safety, he plays wide receiver. So he has the ability to have athletic ability that in today's world you're going to need playing each and every Saturday, players that can run the football. And then at safety-wise, same thing, find tacklers, guys that not can only cover but can make tackles. So that's the gist of this recruiting class. So we're happy with the 7 to 8 guys that we were able to sign. We're also looking at, getting a guy locally. He was the Cleveland.com, player of the year up in Medina, Luke Hensley. Someone that brings playmaking ability to the perimeter. So we're anxious to get all these guys on campus. Well, we look at what we sell our kids. We sell each and every day, guys that have great attitudes, great work ethic. We've said this, you got to love football because it's not easy. If you tell a kid, hey, come here, you better sit down with them. Say, you know what, it's tough. It's hard. It's hard to win football games. It's hard to work 12 months out of the year. So you better have a great passion to play. And then you better surround yourself with people because when you go through those struggles, it's not about where, but with whom. So you better be around people that are going to take care of you. We look at what schools they come from. For us, we're familiar with the schools in Western PA and Ohio. We got a young man that has won 3 WIPIO championships, has won 2 state championships. We have a young man coming from Cincinnati, St. X, Coach Speck. He has, won championships there. We know what we're going to get with a young man from St. X. We got 2 young men from Central Catholic. I've had success with Central Catholic players in my past, and I know what Coach Dempsey does in his program, and they win a lot of football games. They have won state championships before. So I think all those play a role when you're looking at what type of kids. I think the record for them is, this group of players were 41-17, with 2 state championships in the 7 within the 8 players. It starts with my position. Our coaches do a great job, especially during this virtual. We worked every day. And every day we're going to recruit, and every day we're going to build relationships with these players. I think everyone on our staff has bought into that. To be successful at Youngstown State, it can't be one guy recruiting. It's got to be a team effort, whether it's, our 10 coaches got to recruit and build relationships daily. And I thought through this virtual, where you cannot get them on campus, I commend our staff for what they've done to build the relationships with those recruits. So I give them all the credit in being able to handle a tough time, something we've never been through, and be able to get a class signed here in December. No, that's what we were looking for. We needed to get some offensive tackle type of bodies, and any of those offensive tackles when they're young, they're going to look a lot different 3 years from now. But to get with length where they're 6'7", where they're 6'6", where they're 6'4", to be able to get that length where you feel they have good feet, they got toughness, that they know how to block. I think that was something that we go in and that we're searching for. There might have been a player we were recruiting, but it didn't meet maybe what we needed. And that's the hardest part in recruiting. You have your roster, you see what you have. You got to evaluate what you have and assess what you have. And then you got to go find maybe what you don't have and find those missing pieces, so then you can come together as a team. And, we brought in some good offensive linemen last year that we feel will develop, and a lot of those kids are going to be interior offensive linemen. So the focus this recruiting class, we needed to find some exterior, those offensive tackles that can handle the edge. Well, it's the first class that you're able to at least build that relationship from the front end, to be able to come in here. Now, they're going to have to adjust to what we're trying to build here in the locker room and on the field. And that's the one thing I'm most proud of our kids, that through this pandemic, that I really believe we've come closer together as a team. I think we're able to build those relationships. I know they believe in the principles and the values that we're trying to get across. And so these freshmen that come in, they're going to mix with these, and they're not going to be held to a different standard than to the 100 guys that we have on campus now. But I think they'll come in. They're coming from great football programs. They're going to come in and fit in the weight room and know what the expectations there. They're going to know what the expectations on the field. And I feel like even our older guys will hold them accountable that way. Yeah. Oh, Carter was, when we and Carter will be the first one to say, we really, I believe in the hometown hero and trying to, get young men to buy into that. I hope we're building in our own program that it's less of us and more of everyone else. And, to represent the Valley. And what does that mean? We see these championships, and this is what people want, and this is what the Valley wants. But more so, they want to know that you care for the Valley, you help serve the Valley. So to get a hometown young man like Carter, which I don't know how much he really thought about staying home. My first conversation was, Coach, I'm thinking, I'd like to get away. And then it was our job, how cool it would be to change and get this program to be back where they were in 2016, opportunity to win a championship, opportunity to get the Valley back in, to see a packed house at Stanball Stadium. And I know that's what the people in this Valley want to see. They want to see these guys from the hometown. They want to see the Carter Calgrens. They want to see the Mark Wades. They want to see the Dre Rushtons. So we got to do a great job. We got to evaluate our needs. It's always tough because, when you manage a roster, sometimes our needs don't always match up to maybe what's coming out in the 21 class. But those are conversations we got to have with our local coaches, and we got to keep building the relationships there, that the opportunity, you don't have to go, to the Mid-American Conference. Right here, there's only a few teams that can play for a national championship in the state of Ohio, and we're one of them. And to come here and have an opportunity to put a ring on your hand that you won a national title, that's our selling point. to represent your community, to represent your university. I think those are all important things, and when your career's over, guess what? People remember that. And so we're going to continue to recruit this area hard. I think it started with Carter and our tenure, and we got to continue that.